好，各位学员大家好。Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I will start the afternoon class. Thanks to the grace of heaven, the virtues of our holy teachers, the mercy of our 老前人 and 前人 up in heaven, and thanks to masters and lecturers and all my brothers and sisters, thank you for your attendance. And today, we will share the topic filial piety and fraternal respect in the intellect. Okay, and last time we have shared propriety and Zhen, and this month we will share filial piety and fraternal respect. This topic is very practical because each and every one of us has parents. And most people also have siblings too. So as long as we have parents, we should understand the meaning of filial piety. And if we have siblings, we should understand fraternity. Filial piety and fraternity are the most basic forms of love as a human being. Because if a person, think about it, if a person lacks feelings and love towards their closest parents and lacks love for their siblings whom they have grown up with, then such a person lacks compassion because such a person doesn't love his or her loved ones. So a person without compassion is like a flower without water. It will wither. This is artificial flowers. We might be drawn to the appearance of artificial flowers, but artificial flowers lack authenticity. And this is real flower. Real flower will grow. Real flower has life, but real flower need water. Much like water is essential for real flower, compassion is essential for real love in people. And a heart filled with real love can bring vitality to our life. So if our heart is filled with love, then our life is full of vitality. And where does compassion spring from? Compassion springs from individuals with genuine hearts. And we can witness this. We can witness compassion through such people's love for others. People who have compassion, they will show their love, but that kind of love is different from ordinary worldly affection. Ordinary worldly affection is some kind of love that tends to be possessive and turns into anger when unfulfilled. It's like a person loves another person, and if that another person doesn't love him in return, then this person becomes so angry. Or if they become like boyfriend and girlfriend, and they this kind of worldly affection will want to control another person. So such kind of so-called love is not true love. It's worldly affection. And now I'm talking about compassion. Compassion is true love within people. And such true love originated from what? From when we were babies. A baby, naturally, they will love their parents. And when they are growing bigger, they will love their brothers and sisters, because within the family, brothers and sisters are people whom they are grown up with. So all parents, brothers and sisters are all loved ones, And so our love for our loved ones, the filial piety and fraternal respect are true love and different from worldly affection. Okay, so different from worldly affection, filial piety and fraternity are forms of genuine love that arise from one's innate nature, that arise from one's inherent nature. And true love must start from loving our closest family. So that's why filial piety and fraternity are so important. And in the category of filial piety and fraternal respect, there are several passages that include Confucius and his disciples' discussion over the topic. And we will select a few passages. I think tonight, this afternoon, we will select 5 passages to explore further. The first passage for this topic, Youzi said, few individuals who have cultivated filial and fraternal virtues enjoy offending their superiors. So who was Youzi? In the Analects, there are 3 sages who are referred to as Zi. Zi means master. Of course, Confucius, without a doubt, is referred to as Zi. And another sage was Zhenzi. Zhenzi inherited the heavenly mandate as Confucius' successor. So Zhenzi also called Zi. And the third one is Youzi. So what's so special about Youzi? Youzi was very special. Youzi's family name was You, and given name was Ruo, Youruo. Youruo was said to be 43 years younger than Confucius, or another statement said that he was 33 years younger. Anyway, he was much younger than Confucius. So how could he be called Zi? Because it is said that there was a high resemblance between Confucius and Youruo. That means Youruo looked very much like Confucius. Appearances look very much like Confucius. And after Confucius' passing, the disciples of Confucius honored Youruo as Youzi because they find that this classmate made them think of their master. Because they thought that this classmate looked so much like their master, so they call him Youzi. That's why Youzi was called Youzi. Zi means master. Okay, so Youzi said, few individuals who have cultivated filial and fraternal virtues enjoy offending their superiors. That means it is rare to find a person who is filial to their parents at home, but enjoys offending elders or superiors outside home. This is rare. Because once they are filial to their parents at home, they will extend this love and respect to people outside, to seniors or elders outside home. It's an extension. And those who do not enjoy offending superiors are never troublemakers. See, we don't like to have troublemakers in a group, right? But how people become troublemakers? Those troublemakers, most of them do not love and respect their parents. So a Junzi, what's the meaning of Junzi? Junzi is a transliteration of a Chinese term. Junzi means a person of noble character. A person of noble character is called a Junzi. A Junzi directs his attention to what is profound and fundamental. Profound and fundamental. Junzi will not pay attention to the superficial appearances, the superficial outcome, or superficial achievement. Junzi will direct his attention to what is profound and fundamental inside. And once the fundamentals are firmly established, appropriate actions in accordance with Tao will naturally manifest. What does that mean? That means if a person cultivated his or her inner virtues very well, naturally on the outside, his words, his behaviors will be virtuous, naturally be virtuous. So the fundamentals of a person's cultivation is the inner cultivation, the inner virtues cultivation. It's just like if you want a plant to grow well, you need to water the plant. And where do you water the plant? I believe everyone will water the roots of the plant. So the roots of the plant and the roots of one's cultivation is inner virtue. Okay, and inner virtue, the very beginning of inner virtue begins with filial piety and fraternal respect. Okay, so are not filial piety and fraternal respect fundamental to the actualization of Ren? And this is a question, but this question doesn't require an answer because it's a way of affirmation. Actually, it should be put like this. It should be put in a straightforward manner. It should be said, filial piety and fraternal respect are fundamental to the actualization of Ren. But Youzi want to emphasize its importance. So Youzi used a question, but this question doesn't really need an answer. It simply just serve as a way of emphasizing the affirmation. Okay, we will explain further. Why individuals who have cultivated filial and fraternal virtues do not enjoy offending superiors? Why? I would like to quote a very famous sutra in recent Tao society called 伏魔真经. 伏魔真经 is a holy revelation delivered by 关圣帝君. And 关圣帝君teaches us
in charge of the law in heaven.
Yes. 关圣帝君 teaches us
in charge of the law in heaven.
爱亲不误. 爱亲不误 means a person who loves their parents would not dare to easily dislike others. And why a person who loves their parents would not dare to easily dislike others? Because if we truly love our parents, we just won't dislike or hate anyone else because parents are human, so are other people. So we would extend our love for parents to love for other people. But here, notice, truly love your parents. So it's an extension. We love our parents, truly love. And so because our heart is kind, so we won't easily dislike other people. It's an extension. So that's why if you are filial at home, you won't offend superiors or elders outside your home. And why filial piety and fraternity are the fundamental virtues? And what's the importance of filial piety and fraternity? Because if we want to lead a meaningful life, we must embrace love for the world. But where does this love come from? This love should not be ordinary affection or ordinary or worldly affection. The true love comes from a baby who, upon being born, they instinctively knows to love their parents. And that is why we say family, family, F-A-M-I-L-Y. Family refers to father and mother, I love you. So thus, an individual's capacity for love starts with the love a baby has for their parents, and which is the beginning of compassion. So we have discussed 爱亲不误. A person who loves their parents will not dare to easily dislike others. And 关圣帝君also expound 敬亲不慢. A person who respects their parents would not dare to casually neglect others. I use a picture. This is a parent's hand. This is children's hand. If the children who love their parents, they will extend this love to other people. They won't harbor any hatred toward others. If the children respect the parents, they would not dare to treat others with negligence. What does it mean to treat people with negligence? That means being arrogant and indifferent toward others. So since you respect your parents, naturally you will extend your respect to other people. It's an extension. Okay, so because 爱情不误，亲亲不慢. So a benevolent ruler, 关圣帝君 further expounded, a benevolent ruler in the past, a benevolent ruler, a benevolent leader, as long as he served his parents with love and respect, the virtue and influence he manifested could inspire the people because he led by example. So in ancient times, how the virtuous ruler educates their people, they led by example. They showing love and respect toward their parents, and through this, they taught people to love and respect their own parents as well. So in this way, cultivated a virtuous atmosphere throughout the entire nation. Because when individuals love their parents, they would not dare to harbor hatred toward others. And when individuals respect their parents, they would not dare to treat others with negligence. And as a result, people's character becomes pure and sincere. But you may say, oh, it's in ancient times, and what about now? Well, we can apply this principle to modern times too. For example, like maybe you are a boss in a company, and you can lead by example because you love and respect your parents. So your employee would love and respect their parents, and they will extend their love and respect for their parents to the people in the company. Then the atmosphere of the whole company will be sincere and pure. If you are a leader, if you are a teacher, you can apply this, lead by example, especially if you are parents. If you are parents, love and respect your parents, and your children will follow your example. They will love and respect you because they see you, they witness that you love and respect their grandpa and grandma. They will love and respect you to lead by example. Okay, so this is the teaching of Confucius. So this is very basic. So 君子务本, a 君子 directs his attention to what is profound and fundamental. Why we call filial piety and fraternal respect as fundamental? Why? Why not something else? Why filial piety and fraternal respect? Because people are born from their parents. Everyone were born from our parents, right? And people rely on their elder siblings to establish themselves. Probably when we were very young, and our elder brothers and sisters took care of us, help us grow, and even help us with our study in school, like something we don't understand, and teachers did not teach us clearly, so we will ask our brothers and sisters. So we rely on our brothers and sisters. Therefore, we were born from parents. Parents nurture us, give us food, shelter, and educate us, and our elder brothers and sisters took care of us. So therefore, filial piety and fraternal respect are fundamental principles of how a person should interact with and conduct themselves toward others, because filial piety and fraternal respect stem from a sense of gratitude. It's out of gratitude. That's why they are different from ordinary worldly affection. Ordinary worldly affection is something possessive, that want to control others, or even lead to irrational actions if their desire is not fulfilled. Okay, so it's the fundamental filial piety and fraternal respect, because if we do not love our parents who brought us into this world, or our elder siblings on whom we rely to establish ourselves, then how can we love anyone else? Then we don't have the ability to love anyone else, because we don't even love the parents who bring us to this world and the elder brothers and sisters who we rely on to grow up. Okay, so as a review, this passage, Youzi said, few individuals who have cultivated filial and fraternal virtues enjoy offending their superiors. And those who do not enjoy offending superiors are never troublemakers. A Junzi directs his attention to what is profound and fundamental. And once the fundamentals are firmly established, appropriate actions in accordance with Tao will naturally manifest. Are not filial piety and fraternal respect fundamental to the actualization of Zhen? Okay, that is the first passage. The second passage for this afternoon. The master said, master means Confucius. Confucius said, a young man should be filial at home and be respectful to elders outside of his home. Here, Confucius said young man because in ancient China, only male can go outside and all females should stay at home. So Confucius said a young man should do this and that because a man can go outside to pursue for his career, his profession, his education, but female, the women should stay home. But nowadays time is different. Men and women and men are equal to go to enter the society, to pursue their career, to receive education. So nowadays the term young man mentioned here naturally includes young ladies. Okay, so a young man or a young lady should be filial at home and be respectful to elders outside of his home. He should be honest and truthful, universally cherish all people, and nurture connections with virtuous individuals. And after completing this, if he has extra energy, he can delve into the study of literature and professional knowledge. So you see, I believe that most of you, and maybe all of you, are much younger than me. So I can call you young people, okay? So you, young people, first of all, you should be, according to Confucius' teaching, you should be filial at home. The requirement number one, be filial at home and be respectful to elders outside of his home. Requirement number two. Number three, be earnest and truthful. Number four, universally cherish all people. Number five, and nurture connections with virtuous individuals. After you fulfilling the 5 requirements, then if you have extra energy, you can go study. Well, the meaning superficially is, we can explain it in this way. But probably you might think that after you fulfilling the 5 requirements, you feel so tired, so you have no time for study. Well, I will explain further. First of all, young man means one who is younger, or is a son, broadly referring to younger generations or juniors, like in Tao society is 后学. And filial piety and fraternal respect need to be nurtured in family education. Be aware, in your family, if you are parents, you should teach your children. You should, while you interact with your children, you should infuse the essence of filial piety and fraternal respect into your children. Parents should be responsible for providing correct guidance. I don't know if there is any difference between the culture I'm in and the culture in South Africa, but I'm sharing experiences in my culture. And if you find any difference, well, you might just consider this is other people's other cultures' experiences. It just serve as a reference. Well, maybe my experience is not absolute because different culture, you grown up with different way of education. Well, when I tell you my story, or the story happened in the society I'm in, and You can just see it as other people's experience and see if it makes sense. Okay, so now I will tell you a story. Why parents should be aware to educate their children to be filial and fraternal. If they provide wrong guidance, it may cause harm to their children. Okay, this is a true story. Well, a university professor once wrote an article describing a curious sight he observed every weekend. Because at the McDonald's, a mother always take her elementary school-aged son to McDonald's every weekend. And what caught his attention was that the mom would sit across from the son, but never eat anything, never eat. They always order just one meal, and she just look quietly, and her son just eat. It's very strange. Her son savored the French fries and dipping sauce, and the son seemingly unaware or indifferent to his mom's hunger. Never asked his mom to eat. The son just enjoyed the food himself. Very strange. And while the professor saw this played out every weekend, weekend after weekend, professor found very puzzled, eventually unacceptable. So the professor just stepped up, just talked to the mom, asked her why the child never seemed to notice that your mom never took a single bite. Unable to resist his curiosity, he approached the young mom and asked why this happened every weekend. And the son just indulged in eating, and the mom did not eat anything. And the sad story was the mom explained that on Mondays at school, well, in Taiwan, I'm wondering if this happened in Johannesburg. In Taiwan, elementary school kids, Monday at school, classmates would chat and ask each other, where did you go for the weekend? And due to, because they did not have much money, so the mom couldn't afford to take her son anywhere for like sightseeing or shopping or recreation, anything. So the only thing she could do was bring the son to McDonald's every weekend. The only choice was that. But they couldn't afford to order 2 meals, so they just ordered 1 meal, only for her son. And she said by exposing her son to McDonald's food and experiences, the son would have something to talk about during Monday conversations with classmates. And in this way, he wouldn't feel left out while they shared stories about their weekend adventures. At least he could talk something about visiting McDonald's. And the professor, upon hearing the mother's explanation of the underlying reasons, the university professor shook his hand and he disapproved. He said, if the child could understand the mom's intentions, the mom's intentions was very touching. If the child could understand, could comprehend, then that would be great. However, if the child continue in this way, without empathy for his mom, it could result in selfishness. He might result in growing up to be a very selfish man and self-centered man. He might neglect the hardship faced by his parents or the hardships faced by anyone else because he may be very selfish, without compassion. And since a person without compassion, that person would be without vitality. He would be indifferent to all the tragedies happening in the world. So education, don't think that the mom should not think that in this way she loved her son. In this way, she actually do something very harmful in educating her son to be very selfish and self-centered. Okay. So parents should be responsible for providing correct guidance. And like in our society in Taiwan, some parents just focus on their children's academic performance. So they always said that the parents in Taiwan always tell their children, say, you don't need to do anything else. At home, you don't need to do anything else. You just focus on studying well. You just focus on your grades. You should get good grades and get into a good school. That's important. And you don't need to care about your character, morality. You don't need to care about this. And this is also wrong. Okay. Okay, Confucius' requirement for the young people. First of all, filial at home, respectful to elders outside his home, and next, should be earnest and truthful. What does it mean by to be earnest and truthful? That means to speak and act cautiously and carefully in accordance with the truth. Don't lie. Only speak the truth. And also avoid words of bitterness. Do not speak words of bitterness. Do not speak words of nonsense. Avoid gossip. Avoid arrogant words. And be sure to keep our promises. So be earnest and truthful means when speaking, we should be mindful to align our words with virtuous principles. Okay, so this is be earnest and truthful. And how about universally cherish all people? When we talk about universally cherish all people in the Analects, I believe that Confucius did not mean that everyone should be a philanthropist. It doesn't mean that we need to do something very big, to do some very big charity. It simply means that everyone can do in their daily life. We simply need in our daily life to cultivate some understanding, some compassion, and some concern for others without becoming excessively self-centered. And that is universally cherish all people. Having some empathy, understanding that in this world, apart from yourself, there are other people. We want to be happy. Other people want to be happy too. We don't want to be disturbed. Other people don't want to be disturbed too. We want to be safe. Other people want to be safe too. So have some empathy for other people. Be considerate for other people. Do not be too self-centered, too selfish. And that is the meaning of the essence of so-called universally cherish all people. I will give you a very simple example happening in Taiwan. It's a true story that I once experienced. Once I was on the subway with my elder sister, and we boarded at a station. We boarded at a subway station right after a junior high school station. That means we boarded on this station, and the previous station was a junior high school station, okay? And when the students were getting out of school, when it was time for students to get out of school, so you can imagine when we enter the train, we find that all the seats were occupied by the students, the teenagers, and no vacant seat at all. And the two of us, me and my elder sister, we need to stand right there. in front of all the teenagers, and nobody wanted to yield their seat to us. So we just stood there. But very soon, in front of my sister, there was a young boy who appeared uneasy in his seat. He appeared very uneasy, and eventually he quickly got up and hurried to another car and ran away to another car, and leaving a seat empty right in front of my sister. Then I told my sister, oh, he wanted to give up his seat for you. So my sister naturally sat down. Well, this is a very simple story. You might say, what kind of story is this? It's nothing. Well, we can find this anytime, anywhere. Young people, teenagers yield seat to older people. It's natural. But I just want to share with you the beautiful quality, the beautiful inner quality of the kid, of the teenager. See? You see, in the midst of classmates, you see, all the classmates were laughing and they neglect the needs of others. They did not find that two elder citizens standing right there, and they just laugh and chat. But only this child who noticed the needs of those around him. Why did he give up his seat? You think about it. Why did he give up his seat? Perhaps he observed that someone like my sister of a similar age to his grandmom, yes, most likely he witnessed this. He saw my sister about the age of his grandmother. And how could he sit there and let his grandmom stand? He might think, how could I sit while my grandmother stands unsteadily in front of me? So this child's action were commendable. Why? Because his sense of filial piety arose. See? Suddenly, because he was driven by his sense of filial piety. So he just sat uneasily, so he just stood up and ran away and leave an empty seat. I believe that because of his sense of filial piety. So I quote this example to share with you. That is the meaning of so-called universally cherishing all people. To universally cherish all people doesn't mean that you need to be a philanthropist. It just means that you can do this small favor to anyone, maybe strangers, maybe passengers, or maybe your classmates, your co-workers, your friend, your family members. You just pay some consideration to them. See, like this kid, my sister isn't his relative, right? My sister isn't his friend. My sister isn't his teacher or principal. Besides, this child's act of giving up his seat won't earn him any school rewards. The school will not give him a reward for yielding seat to someone. No. And also will not make him a model student. But his conscience tells him that he must do it, compels him to do it. And this is so-called universally cherish all people. Okay, and then the next requirement, Confucius said a young person, a young people, young man or young lady should nurture connections with virtuous individuals. Why young people should nurture connections with virtuous individuals? In Taiwan, I found that most young people will nurture connections with whom? With their idols, like with the famous singer, with the famous movie star. They want to make connections with their idols. They're just fans, see? But such behavior, well, I don't want to say that they make mistakes or what. I think they need to value something more valuable to do it. Just connect, to nurture the connection, just to meet your idols and dream that the idols is, well, I don't want to describe more. I think you can, I'm wondering maybe young people in your country doing the same. But Confucius said young people should make friends with virtuous people, seeking the companionship of individuals who are benevolent and virtuous. For what? For positive influences and moral guidance, like in the temple, back in Johannesburg, like in the temple, like Lecturer Young and all the temple staff, they devoted their time and energy to propagate Tao. No benefit at all. They just give, they just sacrifice. They put in their effort without earning any benefit. And such kind of people, they just want to better the world. They worth are nurturing the companionship with them, because they can give us positive influences and moral guidance. There's a famous Chinese saying, 鸟随凤凰飞尘远, just as birds following the phoenix. The phoenix is said that can fly very, very far, can fly a long distance. So if birds follow the phoenix, the birds can travel great distances. And people associating with virtuous and wise individuals can develop high moral character. And such transformation is subtle. So this is a subtle and transformative effect. So Confucius said, young people, if you can fulfill the 5 requirements, then after completing this, if you have extra energy, you can delve into the study of literature and professional knowledge. Read 文 则以学文 in Chinese, in Chinese 文 we can translate into English as literary works, including literatures and professional knowledge. But you might think, if I fulfill the 5 requirements, then I'm so tired, I have no time to study. So, but do not say that, because Confucius doesn't want us to say that, to say that this passage to serve as an excuse to evade going to school, to evade studying or completing homework. The meaning of this passage is prioritize your moral integrity over academic accomplishments and professional training. Of course, young people, you go to school, while you are at school, and you examine yourself. Are you fulfilling the 5 requirements? Are you filial at home? Of course, you can fulfill this during the same time, but you prioritize moral integrity over academic accomplishments while you are at school. Are you filial? Do you respect your elders? Do you say earnest and true words? Are you considerate to other people while you still pursue your studying? Do you nurture connection with your idols, with movie stars, with a famous singer? Or do you nurture connection with virtuous people? So while you're pursuing your study, you can prioritize those 5 principles to nurture your moral integrity. So prioritize moral integrity over academic accomplishments, and professional training is the basic meaning for this passage. It doesn't mean that you just fulfill the 5 and then you're very tired, you have no time to study. It doesn't mean that. It means that while you're studying, you are at school, but simultaneously you prioritize the 5 requirements. And maybe after graduation, you enter a company to work. And while at work, still you prioritize the 5 requirements. So after finishing this, as a review, the master said, a young man should be filial at home and be respectful to elders outside of his home. He should be honest and truthful, universally cherish all people, and nurture connections with virtuous individuals. After completing this, if he has extra energy, he can delve into the study of literature and professional knowledge. Okay, and next passage is the 3rd passage. Zixia said, if you can replace your fondness for beauty with a fondness for virtue. What does it mean by fondness for beauty? Fondness for beauty means like beautiful appearances, the outside exterior appearances. And fondness for beauty means you like virtuous inner qualities in people. So we can examine ourselves. When you see a person, are you attracted by the person's external beauty, external beautiful appearances, or do you value the person's inner virtues more? That's the question. Okay. And Zixia said, if we can value people's inner virtues more than appreciating their outside external appearances, then you are successful. You are a good cultivator. Okay, that's number 1. Replace your fondness for beauty with a fondness for virtue. Number 2, Zixia said, in serving your parents, you can exert your utmost strength. Put in your effort, your energy to serve your parents. Okay? If in serving your king, not talking about king, you can devote your life. Well, you might think devote one's life is something very serious. It's a serious question. How can someone devote, like anyone, how can you devote your life for a king? Moreover, there is no king, I mean, at least in your country, in my country, there is no king at all. We are living in a democratic society. But so what's the meaning of in serving your king? Well, I will explain later, okay? And Confucius further expound, if in dealing with your friends, you keep your promise, well, it's easy to understand. In dealing with your friends, you keep your promise. So if you can fulfill all these requirements, although you haven't received much education, although you haven't done very well at school, you haven't received much education, I would say that you are definitely learned. You are definitely a well-learned person. Okay. First of all, let's talk about who was Zixia. Zixia's family name was Bu. Given name was Shang, Bu Shang, 44 years younger than Confucius. Zixia was one of the 10 eminent disciples of Confucius. Confucius had 3,000 students. Among the 3,000, there were 72 outstanding disciples. And among the 72, there were 10 eminent disciples, and Zixia was one of the 10. So you can see his status among the 3,000 students of Confucius. Okay, and what was Zixia specialized in? Zixia specialized in literature. That means he had done very well in studying and developing his knowledge in literature. And think about it. This statement comes from someone who is highly knowledgeable and accomplished in literature, demonstrating that his genuine reverence for virtue. See, Zixia was highly educated, very knowledgeable, very successful in studying. But he said, if people can replace fondness for beauty with the fondness for virtue, serving your parents, exert your utmost strength, serving your king, devote your life, dealing with your friend, keep your promise, people can accomplish accomplish cultivation of the 4 qualities. Even such person hasn't received much education, Zixia still would say that the person is definitely learned. See, Zixia was not proud of his academic achievements, right? He wasn't proud of his own knowledgeable achievements. Instead, he really, really respects people who are truly virtuous. So demonstrating the statement comes from someone who is highly knowledgeable, highly accomplished in literature, demonstrating that his genuine reverence for virtue. He prioritized virtue over studying literature. Okay, in this passage, I will focus on 2 parts, 闲闲易色 and 世君之局生. Replace your fondness for beauty with a fondness for virtue, and in serving your king, devote your life. I will focus on this too because our time is limited. Okay, let's talk about replace your fondness for beauty with a fondness for virtue. Beauty means beautiful exterior appearance, okay? Confucius once said, alas, it is over. I haven't yet met someone who loves virtue as much as he loves beautiful appearance. You see, Confucius lived at a time 2,500 years ago. 2,500 years ago, Confucius already expressed this lament. People just prioritize beautiful appearance over inner virtue. But now the issue has become even more severe. See, nowadays the issue has become even more severe. People only pay attention to outside, do not value internal virtue. So as a cultivator, since all of us receive Tao, so we are cultivated in White-Yang era. So we should cultivate, so we should replace a heart that seeks beauty in external appearance with a heart that values virtue. We should lead by example to transform the atmosphere of the society, okay? And especially if you are at an age when you are about to get married, when you are at an age where marriage is becoming a consideration, you consider carefully when choosing a life partner. Respect the virtuous qualities of your wife or your husband, or your future wife or your future husband, and overlook her or his physical beauty or physical handsomeness. When you are going to marry, you choose virtuous people. That is important, and why? Here is why. Person of physical appearance. Personality or physical appearance matters. See, when people spend a long time together, like you are getting married, after getting married, you and your spouse will spend a long time together. And in the beginning, you may be attracted by each other's appearances, but later you tend to forget about each other's physical appearance. Instead, it's the other person's personality that truly matters, that truly make you feel comfortable or upset. If their personality is good, you feel comfortable. If their personality is very negative, you feel very bad. See? So personality or physical appearance matters. So when you consider getting into marriage, choose someone who is virtuous. Okay, let's talk about devote your life in serving your king. Now we are in a society, a democratic society. We have no king. But in ancient times, the king was the absolute ruler. The king held absolute power. So the king meant the nation. So in the passage, Confucius talked about the king. Actually, Confucius referred to the nation, the country, the whole country. So if we apply this idea to modern context, devote your life in serving your king means to love your country and to devote to your responsibilities. That's the point. Regardless of your profession, be sure as a cultivator, you should adhere to your job responsibilities too. Not only propagate Tao, like at work, you should adhere to your responsibility. Never engage in perfunctory actions. Perfunctory actions means do something without sincerity. Just do something simply to fulfill a minimal requirement rather than to achieve a meaningful or satisfying result. So as a cultivator, when we are at work, we adhere to our job responsibilities and we courageously take on responsibilities, even if it means risking one's life. When we talk about life, it is a very serious issue, right? But I will give you examples like this. This is a true story happening in Taiwan recently. There were firefighters sacrificed their lives when they were performing their responsibilities to save people. There were several young firefighters tragically lost their lives in a recent firefighting mission, especially among the firefighters, there was one just newly married, just newlywed. So how sad was his newlywed wife? The newly married, but the husband sacrifices his life during fulfilling the mission. Because when the firefighter went into the fire, the place of the fire to save people, they totally forget their danger, right? The only thing they think of is how to save people inside. That's why they sacrifice. It doesn't mean that at work we need to exert our full energy and eventually we lose our health and sacrifice. It doesn't mean that. It's just the important thing. The important point is focusing on the sense of fulfilling responsibility. Never run away from our responsibility. That's the point. That's the point. See, there is another true story also happening in Taiwan. There was a airplane crash in Taipei. In the midst of the plane crash, there was a flight attendant. The flight attendant, despite being injured badly, she still bravely forgot her own pain and displaying remarkable courage as she selflessly rescued others. True story. So you can see, you can find these examples in any place of the world. I believe it's not restricted to in Taiwan, but also in South Africa. In any place of the world, when people, when they are at work, when they need to fulfill their responsibility, they totally forgot about their own situation. They just focus on their responsibility. But most jobs in society are not life-threatening, right? Most jobs are very safe. So this passage, the point of this passage is adhere to one's job responsibilities. Never have a perfunctory or evasive attitude. That's the point. That's the point. As a Tao cultivator, when we propagate Tao, of course, we devote our time and energy. Propagating Tao is very important because it can save people's life, people's soul, to transcend the cycle of reincarnation. But we have a job. When we are at work, we shoulder the responsibility. Never have a perfunctory attitude. Never do the minimum, because we are a responsible cultivator. That's the explanation of this statement, the statement of Confucius. Okay. So as a review, Zixia said, if you can replace your fondness for beauty with a fondness for virtue, if in serving your parents you can exert your utmost strength, if in serving your king you can devote your life, if in dealing with your friends you keep your promise, although you haven't received much education, I would say that you are definitely learned. Okay, so the point is, this statement comes from a person who was well-versed in literature, Zixia, and had a deep understanding of poetry and books. So this passage really reflects the atmosphere within Confucius' disciples. In Confucius' disciples, the atmosphere was, there was a reverence for genuine moral conduct rather than academic performance, a reverence for genuine moral conduct and sincere cultivation. In Chinese, we say, 孔老夫子的门下都是很重视真修实练。So Zixia wasn't proud of his academic achievements. He valued people's genuine moral conduct and sincere cultivation, because that is the atmosphere within Confucius' disciples. Okay, so we have done 3, and tonight, but this afternoon we have 5 passages. Now we go to the 4th passage. The 4th passage. Zhenzi said, who was Zhenzi? Zhenzi was, look at this. Yes, only 2 out of the 3,000 students of Confucius, only 2 out of 3,000 students of Confucius received Tao. One was Yanhui and the other one was Zhenzi. See, all of us have received Tao, but back 2,500 years ago. Tao was transmitted on a one-to-one basis. Now Tao is allowed to be universally transmitted, but at that time on a one-to-one basis. So Zhenzi was one of the two outstanding disciples. Okay, so Zhenzi was very special. Zhenzi said, if a person in a leadership position, if a leader can pay full respect and mourn appropriately when his parents pass away, when his parents pass away, he can pay full respect. That means he can arrange the funeral in a very respectful way, and he can mourn appropriately and sincerely honor and commemorate the parents even long after their passing. If a leader can lead by example, doing this, lead by example, then the virtue of the people in the whole society will return to its natural gentleness and kindness. Because the people will be influenced by their leader. So the cultivation, the behavior, the words, the actions of a leader can really influence, have a very profound impact within the, if you are a leader of a group, then your behavior, your words, your virtues can really impact the people within the whole group. If you are the leader of a city, then you can influence a city. If you are leader of a country, you can influence a country. But if you are just, well, a leader of a family, like you are just parents, still you need to teach your children with your example by love and respect your parents. And when they pass away, respect and mourn appropriately, and even long after their passing, you still honor and commemorate them, even long after their passing. And why people should respect, mourn, and commemorate even long after parents' passing? Here's why. Because parents and ancestors are the roots of one's existence, right? Because we all carry DNA from our parents, from our ancestors. Their DNAs are within us. They are the roots of our existence, our physical being. When they pass away, we dare not lightly disregard or neglect this matter. Not only they gave us their DNA, but also they provide the needs we need to grow up, the food, the shelter, the clothing, the education, everything. So when they pass away, we dare not lightly disregard or neglect this matter. Even if a long time has passed since their departure, we are unwilling to forget them. And this filial mindset of children is truly devoted and sincere. So we should cherish this mindset and mutually influence one another to make it a prevailing culture. Well, this is Confucius. What Confucius teaches us is in Chinese culture. Maybe you can reflect and reflect in and examine yourself and then figure out if this makes sense to you or not. Maybe you can discuss with lecturer Yang. Okay, I'm just sharing with you what I have learned in the philosophy of the ancient sages in our culture, Confucius, and especially Sheng Zhong. Not only on their passing, when our parents pass, not only for the funeral, not only we should arrange a appropriate funeral for our deceased parents, but also we need to ensure our parents return to heavenly home. That's the point. Now I want to share with you a true story in our Dao community. There is a Dao brother whose mom, many years ago, the Dao brother's mom developed a negative impression of Dao members due to some misunderstanding. So she had a negative impression of Dao members, and resulting in misunderstanding and misconceptions about Dao. So the brother, when he grew up and got married, ironically, the brother's wife happened to be a lecturer in our Dao community. So think about it. The Dao brother, his mom did not like Dao members, but the brother married a Dao member, especially this Dao member is a lecturer in the Dao community, a very devoted Dao member, okay? So later, the mom had a stroke and became bedridden. So the Dao brother asked his wife, should we take care of my mom? Since my mom always hates you, so should we take care of him? So he asked his wife. His wife replied, ever since we joined the Dao community, we have learned and we have been taught to be filial, right? That in the Dao seminar, each Dao seminar, there must be a topic, filial piety. So we have been taught to be filial. How can we not practice what we have learned? So they decide they want to take care of the mom. So they will make a daily trip, every day. They will make a daily trip to over an hour each way. One way over an hour, like 1.5 hours, totaling 3 hours of driving from their home to the mother's home. They would leave their own home, go to his brother's house because his mom lived with his brother. And they would assist in taking care of his mom. They did everything you can imagine to take care of her, including feeding her, helping her with bathing, even tending to her toileting needs. They personally handle all the mundane tasks involved in caring for someone who could not take care of themselves. And his mom had a strong dislike for Dao members and vegetarians. Very ironical, the mom had a strong dislike for two kinds of people, vegetarian and Dao member. And the wife, the Dao brother's wife, happened to fulfill both criteria because a lecturer needs to be a vegetarian. So making it very challenging that her relationship with her mother-in-law, very challenging. However, despite all the difficulties, when the mother-in-law fell ill, the daughter-in-law, the lecturer, took on the responsibility for caring her without hesitation. And during the period when the husband and wife were taking care of the mom, the Dao brother increasingly worried about that his mom had not received Dao. So he considered that the priority is how to persuade his mom to receive Dao is the top priority. But apparently it's very difficult, right? I mean, because his mom always hated Dao members due to some misunderstanding. So one day, but the Dao brother thought that it's very important. So one day he gathered up his courages to ask about his mom to receive Dao. But for fear that she might refuse, so the Dao brother even did a rehearsal. He provided many Q&A scenarios, and then do some rehearsal. And then he courageously asked his mom. He spoke up and said, "Mom, would you receive Tao?" His mom didn't hesitate and simply replied, "Yes." It was truly a touching moment that deeply moved him. And this is a role model of you really touch someone's heart without using any words, right? He did not do a long preach to persuade his mom to receive Tao. He did not say anything. He just said, "Mom, would you receive Tao?" And his mom said, "Yes," without hesitation. So it's very touching. And then afterward, when his mom received Tao, then the Tao brother made a bold decision. He renovated so he renovated his top floor and turned it into a family temple, okay? And he also renovated and transformed the garage on the ground floor into an environment suitable for taking care of his mom. He was ready to take his mom to live with them, okay? So a really touching story. But on the day when when everything was ready and he was about to go to pick up his mom, and he received a sudden phone call from his younger brother. His brother said, "Brother, it's no longer necessary. Our mom has already passed away." So then they began to handle all the funeral arrangements for their mom. And a month later, it was time for the body to be prepared for the funeral. So the two brothers were responsible for lifting their mom's body out of the morgue's freezer. They need to move the body out of the freezer. And think about it. The body should be very stiff, very rigid. But when the Tao brother held their mom's head while his younger brother carried her feet, in theory, the body should be stiff and rigid, but it appeared very soft and sagging around the waist, very soft, lifelike, and even sagging around the waist. So he completely realized that because of receiving Tao, their mom's spirit had already returned to heavenly home. That's a witness. That is a testimony for every sincere Tao cultivator. So as children, 慎终追远, as children, whether or not the spirits of our parents have returned to heavenly home is our final concern and ultimate responsibility. That's why Mencius, another sage in Confucianism, Mencius said, taking good care of our parents while they are alive may not be considered an extraordinary feat. Well, it is an extraordinary feat, but there is one even more extraordinary. After our parents pass away and we are able to ensure a peaceful resting place for their souls, that is most important task. That is the most important task. So in this passage, doesn't mean that we don't need to take care of our parents when they are alive. It is extraordinary if we can take care of them when they are alive. But there is something even more important. We need to make sure that they go to a very peaceful place after passing, and that is our heavenly home. So if our parents are still on earth, be sure to help them to receive Tao. That is our priority as children. Okay, Zhenzi said, if one in a leadership position can pay full respect and mourn appropriately when his parents pass away, and sincerely honor and commemorate them even long after their passing, the virtue of people will return to its natural gentleness and kindness. Okay, let's go to the last passage for this afternoon. Meng Wu Bo asked about the meaning of filial piety. The passage is very short. When Wu Bo asked about the meaning of filial piety, the master said, the main concern of your parents is about your health. What does it mean? When Wu Bo asked, what should I do to fulfill filial piety? Confucius said, you just make sure that you are healthy because your parents are worried about your health. That's all. So the main concern of your parents is about your health. So you can see Confucius always provided different answers to the same questions of different disciples. Why? Because Confucius, this is called 因材施教. Confucius taught according to different disciples' situations, because different disciples were in different situations. So Confucius would teach them according to their individual situation. So like Meng Wubo, Confucius would teach him, okay, you ask about filial piety, then I would tell you, you just focus on making sure that you are healthy. If you are healthy, your parents will be very happy, and then you have fulfilled your filial piety. Okay, so let's talk about so-called 为其疾之忧. Okay, and because Meng Wubo was the son of a powerful figure in the state of Lu, so Meng Wubo had a hot-tempered and aggressive personality. He was known for his reckless bravery. He would fight. He would fight with other people. And, you know, fighting may cause harm to his body, right? So, which often worried his parents about his safety. And that's why Confucius gave him this advice. And also in the Sutra of Filial Piety, Confucius said, our bodies and skin, our body, our physical body and our skin are inherited from our parents. We should not dare to harm or damage them. Why Confucius mentioned bodies and skin? Well, we know inside the body there are so many internal organs, but Confucius means that even as superficial as the skin or even the hair, all are inherited from our parents. So if we love and respect our parents, we should protect our physical body and even the skin and then our hair without causing any harm to this, because they are inherited from our parents. Okay? And I would share with you a true story. When I was in New Zealand, I heard this true story. In New Zealand, there was a mom who was 100 years old. Well, in New Zealand, many people are long-lived. Many people has the blessing of longevity. So there was a mom 100 years old, and her son was 80 years old. And one day when her son was sick, and the mom, 100 years old, still very healthy, the mom took her son and rushed and ran to the hospital. And when they arrived at the hospital, the mom walked up to the staff and asked, hey, where is the pediatric department? Because she still considered her son was a baby. So think about it. Yes, even you are 80 years old, if you are lucky enough, your parents are 100 years old. In your parents' eye, you are still a baby. You are still a baby hugging a teddy bear. So your parents love you so much. So please take good care of yourself. Take good care of your health. If you take good care of your health, and that is also a way of fulfilling your filial piety. And like here, when a child falls ill, when a child is sick, parents wish they could fall sick to replace their children's sickness, right? So the passage for the point for this passage is, the main point of this passage is to take care of yourself and not let your parents worry, which is the least we can do to show our filial piety. Now, a true story, a short but true story happened in China. See, this is I believe, I don't know who is the mom, who is the daughter. I think this is the mom and this is the daughter. The daughter was, when the daughter was 3 years old, the daughter lost her sight due to an illness. The daughter became blind. From that moment, the mom held her daughter's hand for what? For 65 years, from the daughter's age of 3 to 68. And now the mom is 90 years old and the daughter is 68 years old. She held her hand for 65 years. And they live a peaceful life in the deep mountains, in harmony with nature. They rise with the sunrise and rest with the sunset, 日出而作，日入而息, living a life of natural ease and contentment. They are free from worldly struggles, very happy, right? But, however, life is unpredictable. In this photo, we can see the mom's worries in her eyes. You can see the mom's eyes, it's just like she is saying, what if I'm gone? Can you take care of yourself? See, 90 years old mom worry about 68 years old blind daughter. What if I'm gone? Can you take care of yourself? So this is the true meaning of this passage. Most basic, if we cannot take care of our parents, at least please take care of yourself. Do not make your parents worry about you, about your health. Okay, this is the end. As a review, Meng Wubo asked about the meaning of filial piety. The master said, the main concern of your parents is about your health. Okay, time is up, and also I have finished the 5 passages. If I have made any mistakes, I beg for God and Buddha's forgiveness, and I hope all my brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, you can discuss with Lecturer Yang. And so this is the end of my speech. Thank you all very much. Thank you.